Have you ever pondered why you choose the things that you do? Why do you behave the way you do? Picture yourself standing at a crossroads, faced with a multitude of options, each promising its own unique set of outcomes. Your decisions, big or small, have the power to shape your life, influencing everything from your career path to your relationships. But have you ever stopped to consider the intricate psychological processes that govern your decision-making abilities? Welcome to the captivating realm where psychology unveils the secrets of decision-making. Why do we make the decisions that we do? What factors influence our choices? How can we make better decisions? These are some of the questions we'll be answering today. So sit tight and let's dive in. 1. The availability heuristic. Have you ever noticed how certain events can stick in your mind, making you feel anxious or stressed? You might find yourself worrying about flying after watching a plane crash on the news or avoid eating a specific food after getting food poisoning. This tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events is known as the availability heuristic. Coined by the late Daniel Kahneman, this mental shortcut causes us to assess the probability of events based on how easily examples come to mind. However, this can lead to irrational decisions. For example, you may decide not to fly even though statistically it's safer than driving. Similarly, you might steer clear from a perfectly healthy meal because of a past negative experience. To counteract this bias, seek out objective data and consider alternative perspectives before making decisions. Instead of relying on your gut feeling, take a step back and weigh the facts. After all, knowledge is power, and understanding the true probabilities will help you make more rational choices. 2. Anchoring bias. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to quickly assess the worth of something? Maybe you saw a used car listed for $5,000 and wondered if it was a good deal. In cases like these, you may be susceptible to anchoring bias, a cognitive bias that causes you to rely heavily on the first piece of information you come across. Anchoring bias, as explained by Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, can impact your decision-making process in various aspects of life, including financial negotiations, hiring decisions, and even personal relationships. For instance, during salary negotiations, your initial offer acts as an anchor, influencing both your expectations and those of the employer. Similarly, when meeting someone new, your initial impression can heavily influence how you perceive them later on. To mitigate anchoring bias, be aware of the first pieces of information you encounter. Consider alternative perspectives and don't be afraid to walk away from deals that don't feel right. Remember, a good deal isn't always what it seems. 3. Confirmation bias. Have you ever found yourself only seeking out information that confirms your existing beliefs? Perhaps you reconvinced a job change is on the horizon and you start noticing similar career transitions among your friends. This tendency to favor information that supports our beliefs while ignoring contradictory evidence is called confirmation bias. Popularized by psychologists Peter Wasson and Daniel Kahneman, this bias can lead us to make flawed decisions based on incomplete or inaccurate information. For instance, if you believe your boss is planning to fire you, you might fixate on their every move, interpreting even casual interactions as signs of a conspiracy. To overcome confirmation bias, make a conscious effort to seek out diverse perspectives. Consider the validity of opposing arguments and acknowledge when your beliefs may be skewed. By embracing intellectual humility, you'll be better equipped to make well-informed decisions. 4. The framing effect. Have you ever noticed how the way something is presented can influence your decision-making process? For example, when purchasing a product, you might be drawn to a sale item that highlights the discount percentage, such as 20 off. In contrast, if the same item is presented with its original price crossed out and the new lower price displayed alongside, you might react differently. This phenomenon is known as the framing effect. Popularized by Daniel Gilbert, this cognitive bias demonstrates how the presentation or framing of information can significantly impact your choices. For instance, when given a choice between a 50% chance of winning $100 and a 50% chance of losing $75, most people would opt for the latter, even though the expected value is the same. To counter the framing effect, try reframing the information yourself. Look beyond the initial presentation and consider the underlying data. By adopting this mindset, you'll be better equipped to make logical and rational decisions regardless of how information is framed. Number 5. Loss aversion. Have you ever felt a stronger sense of urgency to avoid a loss than to achieve an equivalent gain? According to psychologist Daniel Gilbert, this phenomenon is known as loss aversion. This bias suggests that the pain of losing something is psychologically twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining an equivalent amount. As a result, you might find yourself holding on to a losing investment for too long in the hopes of recouping your losses, or feeling compelled to continue pursuing a relationship that no longer serves you just because you've already invested time and effort into it. To overcome loss aversion, reframe your perspective. Instead of focusing on the potential loss, think about the benefits of moving forward. Consider the opportunity cost of clinging to the past and the value of investing your time and resources into new ventures. By adopting this mindset, you'll be better equipped to make decisions that align with your long-term goals and aspirations. Number 6. The Endowment Effect. Have you ever found yourself reluctant to part with something even if it's no longer serving you? Perhaps you hold on to a piece of furniture simply because you paid a significant amount for it, even if it doesn't match your current style or serve a practical purpose. This phenomenon is known as the endowment effect, popularized by economists Richard Thaler and Daniel Gilbert. This bias causes individuals to overvalue items they own simply because they possess them. As a result, you might find it challenging to sell or give away possessions, even if they have little sentimental value. To overcome the endowment effect, practice gratitude for the items you own without letting that ownership cloud your judgment. Evaluate their true worth objectively and consider donating or selling them to free up space for new possibilities in your life. By doing so, you'll create room for new opportunities and experiences that better align with your evolving needs and preferences. Number 7. The halo effect. Have you ever encountered someone who seemed so likable that you automatically trusted their opinions and judgments, even without direct experience? This phenomenon is known as the halo effect, coined by psychologist Edward Thorndike. This cognitive bias occurs when your overall impression of a person influences how you perceive their specific traits and abilities. For example, if you admire a celebrity for their talent, you might also trust their recommendations regarding products or political candidates without critically evaluating them. To avoid falling prey to the halo effect, make a conscious effort to separate specific traits when forming opinions. Consider each aspect independently and resist the urge to generalize your overall impression. By practicing this discernment, you'll be better equipped to make informed decisions and avoid being unduly influenced by your perception of a person's overall character. Number 8. The sunk cost fallacy. Have you ever stayed in a bad relationship too long because you already invested so much time and effort into it? If so, you might have fallen victim to the sunk cost fallacy, also known as the Concord fallacy. This cognitive bias causes you to continue investing in something simply because you've already invested time, money, or resources into it, regardless of whether it's a worthwhile endeavor. For example, you might keep pouring money into a failing business venture simply because you've already invested a significant amount. To avoid this sunk cost fallacy, focus on the future costs and benefits of continuing to invest in a particular decision. Ask yourself if it is truly worth it going forward, or it is time to cut your losses and move on to new opportunities. By adopting this mindset, you'll be better equipped to make rational decisions that serve your long-term interests and avoid getting trapped in a cycle of chasing past investments. Number 9. The Texas Sharpshooter. Have you ever played the shooting game at a fair where you try to hit the center of a cluster of targets? In this game, you're not aiming at specific targets, but rather randomly firing at them. And by the end of the game, it's likely that some of your shots will land close to the center. This approach mirrors a cognitive bias known as the Texas sharpshooter, popularized by the late Daniel Kahneman. This bias describes the tendency to identify patterns in random data after the fact, leading to faulty conclusions and decision-making. For example, you might review past sales data and notice an upward trend, then claim that this pattern will continue in the future. To avoid the Texas sharpshooter bias, be cautious when identifying trends in data. Use robust statistical methods to analyze patterns and avoid making predictions based on small sample sizes or coincidences. Remember, just because something happened in the past doesn't necessarily mean it will happen in the future. 10. The winner effect. Have you ever experienced a string of successes that left you feeling unstoppable? This phenomenon is known as the winner effect. Popularized by psychologist Daniel Gilbert, this bias describes the tendency to feel overly confident and take on more risks after experiencing success. As a result, you might find yourself making impulsive decisions or taking on ventures that are beyond your capabilities. To overcome the winner effect, be aware of your emotional state when making decisions. Take time to reflect on whether your recent success is causing you to become overconfident or take unnecessary risks. Stay grounded by setting realistic goals and maintaining a balanced perspective. By doing so, you lions be better equipped to capitalize on future opportunities without falling victim to the allure of excessive optimism. And there you have it, folks, a deep dive into the intriguing world of decision-making psychology. Which of these biases did you find the most surprising? How do you plan to apply this newfound knowledge in your daily life? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest videos. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time.